is my assistant, among other things. She's also a recovering addict, and although I hate to call her that because I feel like it puts a label on her that she really doesn't deserve, she is sharing her experiences of recovery in order to help other people who might need that kind of help and that kind of inspiration. And I think that's extremely commendable and very courageous of you to do that.
Thank you, Cheryl.
So today you wanted to talk about having hope after dope.
Yes. Well, first of all, I'd like to define what hope is, because sometimes, people just don't know what the exact definition is of that. And hope is a feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen. And, for me, I guess my main point today would be I know that when I was out there and I was in my active addiction, I had no hope. I lost it. It was the dope over anything, the dope over hope.
Yeah, it took all of
It
your
took everything.
attention, all of your efforts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, when, people experience the loss of hope, you have nothing left. You have no dreams, you have no goals, you have no expectation of yourself because there's no hope there. You don't see the light at the end of the tunnel at all. All you see is what you are used to, and that's just doing the dope. And so I don't know, something occurred Wednesday that just had me thinking about, a certain individual that we encountered together lost all hope. And I just have been dwelling on it for the last few days of I remember feeling that loss of hope, just not having that hope anymore, and it just has really got me. And so I guess my message today is that there is hope, and as long as as a human you carry on, can just have that one thread of hope. There is a light, at the end of the tunnel, and there
And
is
it's not necessarily a train.
no, and beyond all that darkness, you have to sometimes create your own light. And that's grasping back onto that thread of hope, just not to give up. And I feel like I'm proof of that. I had given up all hope before for 3 years.
Yeah.
And so for me, grabbing back onto that hope has given me a new way of living. And actually, I have been gifted, because some people don't get the opportunity as I have to be able to have another chance at life, really, with a new lens and a new way of living. Some people don't get that chance, and some people don't need it. They have a wonderful life. But I was not that fortunate, but I am very blessed today to be able to live with my a new way of thinking, feeling, loving myself, loving others. That hope and that faith has just come into play for me in my life, and I'm a testimony of what there is hope after dope.
Well, and being clean has also given you a new relationship with your family.
Yes, it has. And today I am 346 days clean.
Good for you.
Yes, and I celebrate these days because it is something that's important to me.
Well, and it's important to everyone. Yeah.
Yes, and so just yesterday I attended my first conference with my two younger ones, 8 and 10, after basically 3 years of really not being present, and sometimes I was present but not really. I was just
Yeah.
there physically, but mentally I was absent from the whole conversation. And so just yesterday it just showed me that the domino effect of having that hope back in your own life, and it plays out to the people that are closest to you as well. I have a son that he has an IEP in place. He needs special attention in certain areas at school, and the teacher sat with me yesterday and told me how he is excelling in these two areas that he's always, for the
Needed
last
help.
few years, he's had to have help with, and how he has opened up, and instead of maybe getting two sentences out of the whole day from him, he is making conversations. He's their helper. he's just opening up and blossoming, you know, like this beautiful king that he is growing up to be. And it's just right before my eyes. I wanted to cry because it just shows that, you know, when you're home and the person that is your caregiver, you know, I'm their mother, and things are right with Mama Bear, everything will be all right with her cubs, you know. And before, in my addiction, things were not okay.
No, they were not.
No.
And your kids picked up on it quicker than anybody.
Yes, and they would go to school sad, and they would go to school, you know, not taken care of by their mother. And this year that I have been actively back into their lives, it shows in their you know, emotional state, their physical state, just every part of their being shows that their mother is active in their life. And that is just something that, you know, I had always hoped for that when, you know, I first got clean. You know, it was just kind of a dream, you know, like, because I was still at, you know, Oxford House, and I still didn't, you know.
You were dividing your time.
Right, just
Yeah.
trying to find that balance. But now that I'm home with my children, it shows that, you know, that when Mama's okay, that her babies are okay too, and things are getting better. And there is.
And it did take some time to
Yes.
rebuild the trust
Yes,
with your
yes.
kids.
I've only been home since the end of June, but you know, I have to say now they know that when I tell them something, it's to be true. You know, even if it is like book fair money versus a phone. Okay, here you go, the book fair money. You know, but I have a commitment to myself. And a commitment to them to keep my word, you know, and that's important to us now.
Sure.
And keeping that trust and that foundation, just continually building that back up is very important to me.
Well, and like you said, once you've given up hope, none of that stuff is important anymore because you can't see a future.
No,
You can't see anything.
The darkness overwhelms you and consumes you. And so you just, I mean, eventually, if you're not careful, you'll end up giving up.
Yeah.
Because you don't see the light. But
Which is why a lot of addicts do commit suicide.
yes, they do. Yes, they do. And
And sometimes it's on purpose and sometimes it's
not.
accidental.
Right, yeah. And sometimes they just, you know, and the accidental part of it is maybe an overdose, or just they cannot, you know, get that one thread of hope inside of them and find it and just start pulling on it to find that light. So, you know, it's a sad deal, but I think that's why I do what I do every week, is I just try to reach out because there is hope, you know, and I'm living proof of that. And I'm not perfect by all means, but there is hope out there. And I used to be the one that would never think that I could do anything else but go to suppress the feeling.